strained to some degree, but you said it, UVA women 79, Texas women 90 at last check on the overall scoreboard. Well, you don't want to miss the huddle. Every Saturday, Jordan Cornette, Eric McLean, EJ Manuel, and the coach, Mark Richt, they get you ready for ACC football. We preview the slate of games tomorrow and keep you updated on everything happening around the conference. 10 a.m. Eastern on the ESPN app and the ACC network. Again, that's a 10 o'clock start for the huddle each Saturday on the ESPN app. Men's 1,000 free. Here's that endurance race on the men's side now. The lengthy event ahead of the relay, which will wrap things up here in just a bit. The 400 freestyle relay for both the women and the men. And that's one of the joys of this weekend all the way around, Natalie. Back-to-back days between Texas and Virginia, and it's the rare occasion on which you're going to see 4 relays in the meet today and tomorrow.
We get extra relays. It's so exciting.
All the energy that provides, and certainly the excitement as you see the different legs of those relays being swum. And they split them to begin things here earlier on the women's side.
That's
and
right.
The men's side into 200, I should say. And then, of course, we'll see the 400 of the freestyle variety to close things up here in a bit.
That's right. Gotta love opening and closing the meet with relays. And they're crucial, right? You gotta get the win. You have to get the win, especially in dual meets when top 5 scorer, getting a win is so important. And both coaches have alluded to that all week.
And we'll remind you, 16 additional events tomorrow to complete the meet. All on the swimming side of things. The diving portion completed earlier with Texas extremely impressive in that phase. But again, 16 additional events tomorrow to complete the meet, all starting at 10 a.m., which we'll have for you right here on the ACC network.
Jason, David Johnston, the sophomore of Texas, is maintaining about a body length ahead of his teammate in lane 5, Luke Hobson, the freshman of Texas. So we're seeing things kind of separate a little bit at the 9th lap in this competition. Now we're starting the 10th lap. So you can see the men are just maintaining their breathing, maintaining their kicking patterns. And as soon as you get to the flags, you know you have to maintain that balance before the flip turn and just continue that consistency.
The All-American is a native Texan. He's out of the Metroplex, out of Dallas, Texas. Maybe coming for our world before it's all said and done. He's a communications and leadership major in his sophomore season after working his way to Austin out of the Covenant School there in Dallas, Texas.
That's right. Maybe he'll be up here with us someday.
You got to watch it. With communication, that he certainly will be in a position, as you have been, to talk about just what it's like to be in these moments, in these environments. And for fans who maybe weren't with us at the very beginning of this thing, you experienced that championship celebration that was there earlier, and the fact that you can certainly speak to that is valuable beyond words. And now we have the coach of the Longhorns, Coach Capitani, alongside. Coach, first of all, thanks for taking time to join us. Always a pleasure to have you on board here.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Tell us a little bit about what you've seen today, and an impressive meet all the way around when you look at the high level of competition on both sides. Break down what you've watched today.
I didn't see much of the diving, but we started off the meet pretty well with diving. I mean, UVA is going to bring out the best in us. We've had, I thought, my favorite so far was probably just the way we've stood up, whether it's the relays, the 200 flies, sprint stuff. I mean, they have enough depth to give us a challenge in just about everything, but I think we've held tough and come together as a team. So.
Coach, can you touch upon just the atmosphere? It is standing room only in here. How is it to be competing with so many fans and so much excitement again?
It's about 1,000 degrees and loud and hot and wet, but it's the best environment. I wouldn't say it's a hostile environment, but this is what you want, is like the noise and the crowd and everybody getting excited about swimming and diving. So
David Johnston is leading the way right now, the sophomore for you guys. Can you talk about his performance thus far in the 1,000 free?
I haven't been watching the 1,000, but because I'm not facing the pool. But I mean, our men have great distance guys. That's why they won last year. You know, they have quality people all around. But I don't coach the men, but they're a really good team. So.
Coach, how important is a day like today, a weekend like this for the sport? We talk about this being the first time these two programs are going head-to-head, and you got the men's champions on one side, you've got the women's champions on the other. What does a day like this mean to the sport?
Oh, it means a lot. I mean, fast swimming is fast swimming, and I think if you're a head coach anywhere, bringing your kids to travel, we haven't been able to travel for a year and a half with COVID and getting them on a plane. This is what college swimming is all about, just like racing each other and having fun. And I think it means a lot for the sport. Just grateful to be able to do it.
Well, we're grateful that you stopped by and visited with us for a moment. Thanks so much, and
all right,
we wish you all the best the rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right, the Longhorns performing very well. And you can see just in her smile, Natalie, how much enjoyment there is in being back in a competitive environment. She called it, somewhat hostile in a very tongue-in-cheek, positive way. That's what you want when you go on the road, and you want your student athletes to have to summon deep down inside of them the very best they have in environments like this.
Absolutely. It's always great to go into an away opponent or swim stadium and have a little bit of a hostile and exciting environment, right? Because that always adds fuel to the fire, right? When you see so many fans from the opposing team or vice versa, it makes you compete at the highest level, especially with all your teammates' support.
She had the highest level of praise when we spoke to her earlier this week for this Virginia program. She said they're number one for a reason, and I like the way she put it. Anytime you can put 3 or 4 people in the pool on almost any event, and you know that any of them can win it, it speaks to how solid your program is, and I think that's something that can be said not only of Virginia, but of both of these tremendous programs today.
Absolutely. 2 of the most decorated swimming and diving programs in the nation in every aspect. So it's very exciting, and we've seen some tough competition today. Everyone is challenging themselves. We've seen some excitement, some surprises, and then some things that we probably expected. So it's been a great race so far.
And your takeaways, I'll ask you, we work our way through the middle stages and toward the home stretch of this one, the extended event for the men, the 1,000 free, but what are going to be your takeaways thus far? I know the relay's still to come, so that's got to be in the mix, but what will stand out to you from what we've seen throughout the day?
Honestly, aside from, the opening relays, I just think it's incredible to watch some of these Olympians just competing as if they're at the Olympics again, right? I mean, they have just come back from, the biggest meet of their life and have maintained that excellence. And I think that is something to be said about the student athletes and, what they're here for. And they're here for their teammates. And I just think that's incredible.
Wyan and Sullivan, who we saw just a moment ago, you think about the national championship runs that we saw from Kate Douglas a year ago, duplicated again here today in terms of her time in the women's 50 free. So you look back across this one, and the stars have shined as bright as you would expect them to, with the building full and the banner dropped. And that certainly is the best news of all is we're going to do it again tomorrow. Make plans to join us at 10 a.m. because there's a lot more of this to come. All right, what are you seeing in this particular event, Natalie, as we come down the stretch?
Well, we're coming down the stretch, as you said, Jason, and David Johnston, the sophomore of Texas, continues to maintain. I can see he's really pushing now that the bell is ringing, which is such a sigh of relief when you're in the pool and you hear that bell. You know you're almost there, so you can see he turned the jets on a little bit, approaching his final flip turn. That's David Johnston of Texas in lane 3, his final flip turn of the 1,000 free. So he's going to give it all he's got right here from heading into the flags, into the finish, not breathing, and he'll touch the wall in first place, a 9:01.85 for Johnston.
Johnston, the native of Dallas, Texas, doing great work today for the crew out of Austin, as he will be the latest individual performer. The last of the individual performers on this Friday for Texas to claim a crown. He does it with that 9:01.85. 5, and now we turn our attention in these next moments to the excitement that will return here before all is said and done. As you can just sense in the building the anticipation, as we talked about them coming down the home stretch in that event, as they get set to do that on the day overall. And look at it again, 9:01.85 as he ends up just ahead of Hobson and Zettel as Texas goes 1, 2, 3 free.
Yeah, that's big for Texas. 1, 2, 3. That's a lot of points for the Texas men's swim team.